like this kata or these katas growing up?
I didn't like Sandan.
Everyone hates Sandan.
Yeah, that's the kata I needed private lessons with Mike Young with. For.
And that's why he got a tattoo of him.
Oh my god. We need like a hot reel, sizzle reel, whatever the hot track is, opening track music. I don't know. One of those free license, free to use things.
Well, so I think I was diving into it. I think the reason why we had like a copyright issue was because I did it like at the end of like Anchorman, where like they just let the music go, and so I just let that go at the end of episode 3 with Jimmy, and I guess it was for too long, and that's what got it struck. Because like with the first 2 episodes, it was fine, well on both platforms. On the 3rd episode, Spotify didn't like it, and YouTube. So yeah, that's why episode 4 didn't have any music, because I was just like, I just in case, let's leave it be for right now. Let me get to the absolute bottom of it.
So, all right. Well, welcome guys. Welcome back to, I believe this is episode 5 of Sensei Says. So again, we're 2 nobodies who are just talking about the things we don't have time to in class. Everybody's asking questions about. So again, I'm Ryan. He's Aiden. And today we're going to break down, we're going to talk about a kata that we all have done as beginners. Did you get punished with Naihanchi at all? Like, where you just got, like, frozen and just had to hold it the entire time?
Probably. Okay. It's probably all blocked out by now.
So, we're going to talk about Naihanchis. Not any one of them in particular. We're going to talk about Naihanchi as a whole. So, Aiden, what does Naihanchi mean?
Oh, that's a loaded question. So yeah, Naihanchi was that, whether you go, Naihanchi or Tekki.
No, translation-wise,
Naihanchi is that's sideways
fighting. Yeah. So I know Shotokan calls it Tekki.
Mm-hmm.
Does anybody else call it? I don't know if anybody else calls it Tekki, if everybody else just calls it Naihanchi.
Maybe. Because there's also Naihanchi, that's like the older.
Yeah, the little bit of Chinese
influence on it. And then I don't know what Korean systems call it. I think they have it.
Do they?
I've seen variations.
Oh. Maybe the Tangsudo version, because when I never saw when I was doing Taekwondo. We did like their version of the Pinons. But they didn't call them anything closely related to that. I just recognized them as the Pinons.
They call them Pion.
They didn't call them that.
No, really?
No, yeah, it was. I don't remember what the name was, but it wasn't that. And I was like, we're just doing Pinons. I know what these are. But anyway, I was wondering because I know most styles use Naihanchi as their beginner forms, and even back in the old days, they were the first katas even here. Did you start with Taikyokus? Or did you start with Naihanchi?
I had both when I was growing up. I had the 6 Teikyokus. And I also had the 3 Naihanchis.
Okay, so you started by the time you were purple belt, you weren't doing Anaku. Or were you?
No, I think I learned Anaku as a high purple. I was like the last.
Okay, so you were like one of the last generation.
Yeah, because I don't think Amy and Colin are the generation below me, and I don't think they have that.
Yeah, so in the old days, alright, you learned all 3 Naihanchi by orange belt. I remember white and junior yellow essentially was Naihanchi Shodan. Because from white to junior yellow, you only had to know half of Naihanchi Shodan. And then junior yellow to yellow, you had to know the whole thing. And then Naihanchi Nidan was yellow with orange, and Naihanchi Sandan was for orange. And I hate Naihanchi. Well, I don't hate it anymore, but I used to hate Naihanchi Sandan because that was, like I said, that was the kata. Yeah, and that was the kata that I had to get private lessons for because I couldn't get it to stick in my head. So whenever, we're at staff and people, we're always disputing, oh, everybody's having trouble with Naihanchi Nidan. I'm like, Naihanchi Nidan's easy, it repeats. Naihanchi Sandan, there's no repetition.
Yeah, it doesn't really mirror as much as the other 2.
Yeah. And Naihanchi Sandan, history-wise, is not. I don't want to say it's not traditional, but it's not one of like the originals.
Yeah, it's equivalent to like Pinon Godon.
Yeah, it was. That's Itotsu's kata, whereas the original, according to good old Nante here, what is it?
So it was like one kata.
Before. Yes.
So when it was Silkon Matsumura's, and again it dates back to him, and it could also then date further back.
It's got like Chinese roots. Yeah.
How do I say that?
Naihanchi? Oh, Fuzhou province.
Fuzhou. It could date back to then, and back to them, but then Matsumura's credited on on the Okinawan side, and yeah, it was allegedly one kata, and I think it's unclear whether or not Sandan was a part of that or not. But then it was Itosu who kind of broke it up into 3.
There's definitely a different feel to 3 versus 1 and 2. I feel like.
Yeah.
A lot of similarities, but there's a lot like there are similar moves happening in 1 and 2 where like they're very similar to me, and 3's always I felt maybe it's just because of my relationship with it. 3's always felt like it's like vastly different.
3 is a lot more, I would say, fluid. 1 and 2, there's a little bit more rigidity to it, I guess. Where they're stronger motions. I feel like you have to flow a little bit better with Sandan.
Yeah. It's all because of that one move.
The windshield wiper.
Yes.
I don't even know what to call it. The Bob Ross painting stuff.
Little tree. Where was I going with that? Oh yeah. So, where? Well, let's just stay on history for now. So it starts in. So there's a rumor actually that it's actually Tamari rooted and not Shuri rooted. I don't know how you can tell the difference at this point, but if we're looking at Matsumura's version, I think we're looking at more Shuri. But really, the famous guy who you guys should look up if you haven't already is Motobu. Motobu. This was Naihanchi was like the only kata that he did. He did just those 3, and maybe even just the 2.
Are you talking about the father or the son?
The son.
The second son or the first son?
Now you got me by beat.
Oh, okay.
I only know the one.
Yeah, I got it. It's been a while since I've looked at it. But there was the first. I think the first son. Okay, because again, back in the day, like
I think it's the second son, because usually if you're the first son, you're the well-educated, you get all the privilege. But the second son was the one who went around and fought everybody.
Yes. Yeah. So, because back in the day, it was like I would not, way back, 100, 200 years ago, I wouldn't have been doing karate, or I wouldn't have been allowed to.
You would not be the successor to the system.
Yeah. So, that's something that I think it was a Jesse video I really started. That's when I first learned about that. And I was like, oh, wow, I wouldn't have been doing any of this.
You don't matter.
What was I going on with that? Oh, and then I had another question. Well, I know the answer, but I don't know about the audience. What's Tamari?
Oh, true.
Because
I don't know if we've gone over this. Yeah. So karate has. We're gonna focus on 3 main origins of styles, so to speak. So you had Shirite, Nahate, and then Tomarite. And it's all was basically created by class system and location. If you Shirite was, I regard as kind of like the royal system. It was it was the upper class, the guardsmen. They learned Shuri style. Then you had in the port of Naha, the main port, you had Nahate, which was more of like the down to earth dock workers, little less refined, so to speak, which is curious to me because all of the Nahate stuff, like with all the breathing and internal stuff with there, you would think that would be more of an upper class system. And then you had Tomarite, which was another small port in Okinawa, with a lesser used one, but was kind of a meshing blend between the two styles. Is kind of where a lot of the upper class would go and socialize, so to speak. And so there was a lot of blending there.
So much so that just pretty much got absorbed by
Shuri
Shuri eventually. And that's why, like, if you look at the charts in the dojo, you won't see like Tamari. You'll only see Shuri and Naha like all the way to like the on the right hand side of those kata charts. So that's why you won't see Tamari, but yeah.
Yeah. And even to find out, like, I know is it our Pasai? Or is it our Seisan? I think it's our Seisan. Yeah, our Seisan is a Tamari version. I only found that out from speaking with Hanchi Hayes. Because I was watching his students and I was like, ours is almost the same, but there was it was a little simpler. And I remember I asked, like, why is it that whenever I'm exposed to other styles, ours feels so much simpler comparatively? And it was like, because ours is old. Ours is very Tamari rooted. So not sure which versions we're doing of all things, but I do know our Seisan is Tamari, which I think is pretty cool. We're doing the OGs.
Well, yeah, I think, did you read chapter 6? Or, yeah, this is in chapter 6, right?
The kata? Yeah, chapter 6 is all kata.
So, did you get to... Well, have you seen all the references to Chotoku Kion?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so, like, I think it was in Shinto, they're like, oh, yeah, the older version that Kion did on the 45. I was like, oh, okay, yep. I know, so that's more Shorin.
Yeah, I saw... Who was it? I saw somebody being like, "Oh yeah, I just won blah blah so and so tournament with Chinto," and I was watching. I was like, "It's not our Chinto." I was like, I got excited because I saw it was like, I was like, usually it's called Gankaku or some other variation. I was like, oh, let me see, and I was like, that's not quite it.
So did they call it Chinto? Did they stay 45 or did they go back?
They were still 45.
Really?
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, but it wasn't still ours. So
okay. I might have seen something like that, but at this point, I don't know what I've seen.
The back end was very different.
Like
all the Chinese section, as we call it.
Did it have the crane stance?
It had it. Yeah.
It had this, or did it have the crane stance?
It had
Okay.
Yeah, and they still
with the down block.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I was like, yeah. Let's see. Any other historical points on Naihanchi that we gotta talk about?
Naihanchi. I guess when it became Tekki.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And again, Funakoshi.
You know, I'm terrible with years.
I know that it was, I think Funakoshi came over went to Japan in 1922 and started teaching. I don't know when he changed a bunch of the names to make it more palatable or whatever. But Tekki translates to Iron Horse.
Right.
Which again, I don't. Is Kiba a Japanese or a Hogan kind of thing?
I'm not sure. I was gonna say it's like one of the things we should talk about and I could find the date in here probably, but it's saying, also by Funakoshi copyrights the use of the Kiba doctrine said in 1922, but it doesn't say when he renamed it. So,
ChatGPT later.
Yeah, we can find it out. We can find it out later. See, we're always learning too. And there's too much to remember, guys. So stop trying to keep it all in your head.
That's why it's written down.
Yeah, that's why
there are charts.
Yeah. So obviously in Naihanchi, right, we stay in horse stance the entire time. We're moving sideways, right? So we have 3 horse stances, so to speak. All right. There's the 2 that we'll accept, and there's the one that happens that we don't want happening. So let's talk a little bit about the difference in the stances. So Naihanchi Dutch, right? What do you give me a breakdown?
So I'll work my, so Naihanchi is supposed to be turned in.
Yeah, pigeon-toed.
Yeah. And then Kiba is supposed to be tentos going in the same direction, and then Shiko is with them pointed out.
Yes.
Yeah.
So Naihanchi Which I wonder what the actual literal translation is for that. Do we have
with the F or the H?
Naihanchi? Yeah, Naihanchi dachi.
Okay.
Because if Naihanchi means sideways fire, is it just sideways stance? Like,
at this point, yeah, I grew up with horse stance.
I don't even know if it's I don't even know if it's in the blue book actually, like Naihanchi, as a word. But yeah, so Tekki, right, is what Iron Horse is.
Yeah.
And then Kiba, not sure what Kiba translates to either. But Kiba dachi is the one that we say a lot in class, 10 toes forward.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would say Kiba and Tekki are the same. But I don't even know if they use Tekki. I think they just.
I think Tekki's lower. I know Kiba dachi is lower than a Naihanchi dachi.
Mm.
And then, but I think Tekki's like an even lower. It's like the punishment stance, like when we say like
tabletop
90-degree, yeah, tabletop. I think that's Tekki. Yeah. Oh no. Yeah. You definitely got punished with
oh yeah,
flat top horse stance and the Hach, holding here and down. Down.
Yeah.
Down, down.
Yeah. All right. Now it's coming back now.
Lower.
Thanks. I'm gonna think about that for the rest of the podcast.
Emotional damage. But yeah, so Naihanchi is what we would like students to do. It's easier for kids than adults because of knees.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of torque going in on the knees there. When you're in Naihanchi, are you letting the knees go inward or are you pushing them out?
Mm-hmm.
I'm pushing mine out. I feel like it gives me a better base when I'm in there.
If I have my toes curled in, yeah.
But that's also when people say like it's hard to hold that position. I tell them to then push their knees out. I think maybe it might be that they're too wide.
Maybe. Well, that's a whole other issue.
Yeah.
No, I think for when I have my toes in, yeah, I try to do that, but yeah, if anything, that feels weird on my knee.
Mm-hmm. And if it feels weird, it's probably not right.
Yeah.
Oops. But Kiba dachi is the other one we allow to happen. 10 toes forward. Do you emphasize tuck butts?
Tuck in the butt. Yep.
Okay. That's the one I feel like everybody forgets.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
So you have your Odo horse stance with the hips pushed forward, then you have your Kardashian horse stance.
Is that what you call it?
That's what I call it. And yeah, you get a few laughs, but I'm like, no, you're not supposed to be pushing your butt out.
Sure.
Because and I pull over like a bag or something. Where like I've got a chair. I'm like, okay, you wouldn't sit on a chair like with your butt like all the way back there and your shoulders forward and act like you're sitting on the chair and just sit. Like,
just sit.
Just sit.
Just sit down.
Just sit.
Just sit.
Yeah, so that's what we mean by sit into the stance. Or sink into it.
I have been saying that since I was just sit down, just
sit,
drop and sit. So it does work. It just didn't work in that moment. But then but a lot of our students tend to do shiko dachi with the feet turned out.
Yeah, it's easier.
It's lazy, is what it is.
Yeah.
But for everybody watching, right, we want those feet turned in. Shiko dachi is great for pushing off, and feels like it gives you a better base. But really, like, you're so weak structurally wise. I think shiko dachi is a stance conducive to movement, versus the other two, which are more structurally sound, I feel like.
Yeah, because like if you're here and you got to move forward, this foot's already pivoted. You can clear through that straight. It's a pretty looking stance. I know like when I'm in a Shotokan, I think they're a little bit more shiko than Naihanchi. Like it's not like I haven't seen a Kiba, but. From what and you look on YouTube, is that 9 times out of 10 their toes are out.
How much did you get stressed on that when you were a student, like toes forward, toes forward, toes forward?
When I was here, all the time.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, that's where my dad gets it from. Like we were told all the time, 10 toes, which again makes sense. Like, and I have the example of like with a front stance, where if your front foot's here and your back foot's like turned off. if you throw a punch with if you're left foot in front, right foot in back, and if you throw a right hand punch, like you can feel it all the way down. As opposed to if you just turn, you don't feel anything, like because your body's able to do this.
Yeah.
And then just everything else.
Who did the majority of the teaching, like when your parents were students? Because they were students at the same time that I was, so I wasn't teaching their class.
Yeah, you were from when
I was teaching the kids.
Yeah, I was gonna say I remember you teaching me like in dragon level, and I think like for the first one or maybe it was my second and third degree, you started being a candidate instructor. That was fun. But like again, it was like Hoskins, Walker.
But like who is chief? Because before me and Amanda were chiefs here, joint chiefs.
Brian.
Yeah, it was Thor, but I don't remember Thor being a stance, like being somebody who harped on stance a lot. I just censor myself. And then so before that, then Mike Young was the interim between that, and I wouldn't have gotten from there. And so before Mike Young was who, or before Thor was who? Oh, that'd be Nate.
See, you're saying like, and I know these names, but
you have no.
But and like they did teach, but if anything, like DeGory was he was the chief instructor, and like he would be out there a good amount in my younger years, and
I don't remember him being big on stance, like or yelling at. Maybe just because maybe our class was just that good. I don't remember being yelled at for stance that often.
Yeah, maybe Glass or Hoskins. I just remember having to be 10 toes in front all the time.
I mean, I got on it a lot at some point, but I'm trying to remember. I'm trying to pick up who was the person that was like so big on stances that it translated down the line to everybody else. So I know when. Do you remember Phil Curran?
Yeah, I miss him.
He was a big stance guy. He was always like stance.
Where'd he go?
He was he became a deacon for a church.
Oh. He's had quite the life.
Oh yeah. I don't know what he's up to now. I mean, he was a POW.
Yeah, he was Air Force.
He was a paratrooper. That's why his knees were so bad. And he was a full-on prisoner at some point. I don't remember.
I forgot about that.
Well, yeah, but he's done a lot.
He was before Sensei TJ. He used to be the tournament arbiter. He was what? Like, what do you want?
Oh my god, he was what, 6?
He was tall, 6 foot something.
I'm trying to think. He might have been shorter than that, but he was huge. Yeah, and he was easily like 280. When he first started, he was probably plus 300.
He was a big dude.
Yeah, and when he yelled, man, whoa, it was scary.
Yep. But I don't know if I ever really had him as an instructor.
No,
like he was just always around.
He ran Saturday classes for a while. Like,
was I gone at that point?
I don't know, but man, he yelled. Like he would yell, like, because he carried on Sensei Senka's legacy for a while. He would do like the voice crack, run on lads, and be like, stop. And oh my, like he was all on top of it.
I'm gonna have to put like an audio warning now.
Oh yeah. But anyway, let's get back on track. So, back to Naihanchi. So anyway, we used Naihanchi as beginner kata for a lot of things. That's where this all got started.
Mm-hmm.
Right. But now through experience, we've learned that there's just like a ton of stuff in Naihanchi to work with. So let's like kind of dive down into things a little bit so that people can kind of know what they're looking for in this kata. So I think the first thing that people need to really get out of their heads is the orientation. Because the whole what was it we used to say is like you're fighting against the wall. Yeah, you're fighting against the wall. You can't go anywhere. You can't go behind you. You can only go left and right.
Which it's not like that could never happen.
Mm-hmm.
It's I was doing this with Toomfa this a couple weeks, like last week, because we're
against the wall.
No. With this is what I was told growing up, okay. And let me tell you, and you can point and laugh at me. Like with the manji,
mm-hmm.
And I was like, I was told that you're blocking, and I was told that you're blocking with both, and so you're either blocking someone up high or low, or someone's coming. And I had assumed like come and they're like, all right, put your bow exactly where my hands are, because this will exactly happen. And get some chuckles because like that's crazy. And then I explained like actually like okay, you can think that you can. I might laugh at you, but then you could also think this that makes a little bit more sense. And I showed them with a little drill.
So what'd you show them? The strip? Disarm?
Practically where again your hands cross in the center, so that's your initial block. This is to then cover, this is to then move down and hit the hand, or vice versa. We were going through the applications because they were good with the katas. So I was like, okay, let's. Okay, I didn't like tunfo for just like with Naihanchi. I didn't like Naihanchi growing up because I was told it was sideways fighting. And I was like, well, if the person's over here, why don't I just turn my body and like just do takeyoku at that point? Like even as a kid, I was like, that doesn't really make sense, coach. So it was the same thing with tunfo where I was like, I didn't like tunfo for a long time because I was like,
I didn't like tunfo because I smacked myself in the head.
Oh yeah, that too.
Or the knee,
the elbow. I haven't. Last week I was working through tunfo and I smacked myself in the knee. I was looking at somebody else and I was like going through the kata and I went, pah. But yeah, the getting through that it's not up against a wall, or it's not even like, even if there's no wall behind you, it's not like, oh, I'm out here and I need to be sideways.
The person's coming at you from the side. So, and this was honestly, I think, our first lesson with Hanji Isaac. It was like, kata happens in a 360 degree, can happen in 360 degree. So just because our first move takes us this way doesn't necessarily mean the person's not in front of us, so we can turn and go. But I think, talking about like the up against the wall, you can't go behind, you can only go left and right. Not that we're saying that that's going to happen, but I think the lesson is along the same lines of Muchimi, of getting in close and staying there, is that instead of retreating, because all the lessons we're going, everybody going like, I want to get in close, I want to get in close, I want to get in close. Well, if you go backwards, you can't get in close. So Naihanchi teaching step sideways, move sideways. I think there might be something to that as far as, foundational lessons. And then we can look at the footwork, which teaches us angle, turning, changing, orientation, things like that. So with Naihanchi footwork, right, so Kosadachi, anytime you see Kosadachi in Naihanchi, what does that tell you?
Well, because that means that you just moved. So for me, I'm thinking, okay, I'm either stepping in, I'm stepping on, or I'm
like rooting,
rooting, or stepping maybe even behind, like that when they last or a couple weeks, what was it, 3 weeks ago at this point, down in Delaware, they were going over that kosa and like stepping in behind and I just could not get that. Like there were other things I was like, oh, okay, that makes sense, but like the to get to the Kosadachi and that's the takedown, I'm like, I have to talk to Mara about that because Mara likes doing that stuff.
I'm trying to remember the footwork for that.
Where like with the one foot that you step in first, that one's the one that like locks, like that connects with their foot, and then the other leg that comes around is the knee that. Is
that when we were doing open the door?
I don't know if it was exactly like that.
One of them, because I had done.
You're thinking Wansu with that.
Maybe.
Because with Wansu, like your hand is going out and you're stepping behind.
Yeah, but they were using this motion as. Then I was like, oh, it's kind of the same idea. But they were like lifting up with it when they did
expanding.
Yeah, exactly.
I remember that. Yeah.
But I remember like because I had done the lesson with, was it Tommy or Tony? Tommy, I think. I had done the lesson right before that, and we were using the same footwork, so I was kind of like already predisposed.
Tommy was the taller one.
Yeah.
Tony. Okay.
Yeah. TNT. From Chicago. But yeah, so I did like in that though, talking about Naihanchi, like the Kosadachi also, like I look at sometimes the Kosadachi step as like the oblique kick. If you turn and just check, or I guess that could still also be a root. I guess it all depends on like in Kosadachi actually, right? So, knee behind knee, knee sideways, like tucking, or um, it's like the staggered knee, so to speak. I was always taught like knee behind knee, like
in the Naihanchi,
knee in calf, yeah. Cause like I used to sit as a kid, I used to sit like this at my desk. I would like just kind of sit like in a lazy kosa, like if there wasn't a seat shut up, if there wasn't a seat available. So like I've always had no trouble with kosadachi. But I know it's not exactly easy for everybody to get their knees crossed over top. Do you find any difficulty?
No, okay. I don't like. I don't
All right, stop whining then, people.
I don't think that's ever been a problem.
Stop your whining.
It's the your foot is supposed to be, your heel is supposed to be off the ground. That's where like people just that's what I can understand dancers that had plie and that's a natural was that muscle memory?
Yeah.
But that's what Sensei Franz yells about at every candidate test.
Wait, which one is it that she wants? She wants the feet flat, or she wants one flat, one up?
One flat, one up.
Okay.
Which, again, at this point, I've seen people do it both ways.
I've never paid attention to which one I do. But you're a fan of from Kosadachi the step back in, touch, and go back out now.
Oh, like pretty much having a C step?
Yeah.
I do like that. And I think when I went back and I went to go see, because of that student that did that, I was like, I want to see if Odo did that.
He does.
And he does.
Very small, but he doesn't do it like dramatic.
It's not super big. Yeah, it's just
a tiny little boop boop.
But that opens up, like if you're a very literal thinker, that opens up like, oh,
sweet.
I've seen this before. This is getting behind their foot, a takedown, something, getting in that way as opposed to just stepping. When I see it straight in, I'm thinking I'm going like at you, around, like I can kind of visualize. Then I'm going around your foot, around your leg to get in.
Yeah, I think it just depends on what bunkai you're looking at.
Oh yeah.
Cause I think I do both. Sometimes I do the step, and I think in Naihanchi 1, I only do straight step. Cause I use kick coming right out, either kick 1 or kick 2 coming through there.
Into your brush block or your...
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And also when we step into inside. Coming off the punch, I kick, step.
Yeah, a lot, and that comes from, a lot of people lift their foot at that point.
Yeah.
They step, up
and it's almost like they stomp almost. With
yeah.
Yeah, I know the show, that's a really big Shotokan thing with that. Boom. What's your timing on that, by the way? Well, not when you're doing count. Do you do step out and then block, or you do same time?
I was thinking about that. I think just because I teach it so much, it's step and then block.
Yeah.
But if I'm flowing with it, I usually have a quicker inside block, especially going into Nidan and Sandan. But yeah, we teach Shodan to dragons and basics, and so
and break it apart.
Yeah, I break it down a lot. So it's kind of hard to tell, how do I actually do that?
So what kicks do you see in Naihanchi? Because I talked about mine. But...
Oh yeah, you said the oblique kick. I started playing with that a little bit for the last couple months of putting that in, because it's when I was working on a coup. I was practicing that and I saw the oblique kick in there. I was like, oh, well, that's a kosa. And so then I started thinking about all the other kosas that could be that. And then you've got the inner gate and the bottom of the ankle or top of the ankle when you're hitting your leg. So that could either be low or it could be high, like when you're at the hammer fist points.
That's the one I've been really working on trying to switch up. Because even though I always knew bring it all the way in, when we were in that workshop and we were doing we did a 1, 2, we did 3 kicks somehow in that in one move. It was
either low, high, and then calf, or what's that called? Cat, yeah, it's calf. Thigh calf.
1, 2, and then 3 was the spleen 9 kick, 9 or 10.
6.
Nine's here. Nine's here. I know
also, there's a 9 and a 10 right
Nine's
here.
below the knee, and then 10's above the knee.
Okay, there is a 9 above the knee. I'm missing that right now.
But it was like when I was trying to make that work, like it wasn't hitting quite right, and then there was like a hip turn that I had to do on that, which I was like, oh, that made it work. So now like I've been trying to mess with my Naihanchi, trying to get that hip turn to stick in there.
Mm-hmm.
So there's all sorts of like tiny movements in the legs with Naihanchi that I feel like people miss. Mostly because as beginners you're just trying to learn it.
Yeah. There's the oblique kick and knee dot too. When you're doing that, because if you're catching, you're taking out.
Yeah,
you're going for the other leg.
I'm just thinking about now with when we talk about like when you already have a leg, if you kick out their leg, that's so
I'm in what 4 weeks, 5 weeks. I'll be doing that again in candidate classes.
Yeah, but usually I just pull them with that with this. Now that I'm thinking about kicking while you do it, oh my gosh, that's awful.
Oh, and you can change how nice you're being.
Yeah.
Because if you either push or if you just kick that without twisting, now they're on one knee in theory,
and elbow in the face.
And you hold. Oh no, they're turned that way. It looks like they're doing.
Are you catching from the front?
Yeah, if you like throw like a roundhouse or whatever, I'm here and then I twist. You're turned. They've turned that way. You're still looking at them.
Oh, I was talking about if you kick their knee up just from the pull and kick, that leg's going back. They're gonna drop forward, and then you just boom right across the front of them.
Well, because then I also turn it into like then you also still have the ankle lock.
Yeah.
And so if they start twitching when you're being nice, okay, then they turn.
Have fun with your knee reconstruction. But yeah, so there's a ton of like footwork stuff, and this is for this message for like the black belts people and such, or those who have a firm foundational knowledge of Naihanchi, to really go back and start looking at the feet instead of just getting obsessed with the hands.
Do you know who Mort from Penguins of Madagascar is?
What?
Mort from Penguins of Madagascar.
Is that the one who just goes like crazy with his hands? The dumb one?
The one that's like crazy about feet?
No.
You said looking at feet. So I thought, like Mort.
It's moments like these where I'm like, yeah, there is a age gap here.
What are you talking about?
There's the 3 penguins. There's the one who's in charge.
There's 4 penguins.
Oh, okay. There's like the
Skipper.
Skipper. Yeah, I know Skipper.
Kowalski, the smart one. Rico, the one that just like an upchuck like anything from like his stomach and like he's the tool bag.
I forgot about him.
And then there's Private, who's just like the
dumb one.
Yeah,
he's the comedic relief of the 4.
Exactly. Yeah. He's the new one.
Not one of those did you name Mort?
Mort. So from the Penguins of Madagascar, but the Penguins of Madagascar, there are other characters in there. So like there's more, or like just Madagascar as a whole. There's King Julian, and
not
Mort.
a penguin.
Yeah, but from the show and like from the show and the movies.
See, I only associate the movies. Why would I be watching the show?
Actually, yeah, I guess that was that when I was a kid.
That's what I'm saying.
See, when I was a kid, he wasn't a kid. So
I was too cool.
What were we getting at?
Let's get off of feet. So hands. What are the things that you think people miss when they're starting to like delve in and look into Bunkai?
Stop blocking.
Okay.
Stop blocking. There's no such thing as a block. The things that we say all the time, like closed hand, grabbing hand, open hand.
That was a very Isaac response, by the way. This is the deadpan. Stop blocking. That's
I haven't talked with him in forever.
I've just been afraid to call him because I know like he's like not feeling super hot, so I don't like if he's napping. I don't want to.
Oh, that doesn't stop me.
Yeah, I'm sure it doesn't. Well,
I've just been too busy. I still can't find my water. I don't know if we talked about this on the podcast. I still can't find my water meter.
Oh, still.
I've had plumbers and the MUA come out. Oh my gosh, this has been a whole thing.
It's in your neighbor's. Your neighbor has it.
Yeah, I'm gonna knock.
Your neighbor's basement.
I'm gonna get a hammer. I'm gonna knock it.
Can I go into your basement?
Have a here's Johnny moment and find my water meter. But yeah, Getting out of the everything is a block. You know, I'd rather so much use think that everything is a strike, then we can work with that. Um, and that that's why like everything is here. And I was talking about this with my adults, and we're working self defense. I was like, everything is pull them in. We have no face punches. That's because we're not like there's that one time and 2 times in Nidon that we do this, but everything is down here. So I'm your head or your neck is right here. I'm gonna be punching down there, and that's why you pull all these things. That pulling hand, grabbing hand. If you have that, everything else makes so much sense in my opinion.
Mm-hmm. I mean, two-handed techniques I feel like are easy to start associating with, but I want people to really start paying attention to the hikite, the second hand.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because again, going back to the pulling thing, if you look at everything as like here and go, then everything becoming a strike starts to make a little bit more sense. But I don't know how to break that message or break out of that mindset or being like just like, okay, your chamber's here, okay, cool, it's there, right? But like for them to actually start pulling the chamber, you know, Kihon's were blue in the face with the switch, and I was like, pull that hand, pull that hand, pull that hand, and they're still just thinking punch, 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 punch.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so I want to see that secondary hand get used.
Have you done the belt drill?
The belt drill?
Yeah,
No.
It might have been another Jesse thing, where you get your belt and you tie it around your weight master, and then you wrap it in your hand, and you have to pull it tight and punch. And you have to.
No, I've never.
So everyone's got a belt, and so you just go on the weight master.
Well, you know,
if you have a small enough class,
yeah,
enough
they can't tie their belt.
Well, you don't have to like tie it perfectly and whatnot. You literally just wrap it around and knot it, and then you just it's like, or if you have like a ripcord or something.
Remember, our kids still need Velcro for their shoes, right?
All too well.
So,
do you have any Velcro belts left?
No, good God, I threw them out like so many years ago.
I saw one. I think it was more than 6 months ago. I think I saw one. I was like, oh my God, I completely forgot about those.
No.
I kind of miss them.
I don't.
Just put it on.
I don't. Oh my God, I hated that thing.
I had Velcro belts.
Did you? You had a Velcro belt?
I had my fair share of Velcro belts. If I remember correctly, I had Velcro belts.
Oh man, I hated the Velcro belt. I hated when I used to have to get like a size 7 belt and cut that in half to make 2 size 2 belts. You guys never had to go through that?
No.
Oh yeah, I had to like, it was a size 7 or 8 because they were just sitting there. I don't know why, but yeah, I had to cut them. He would buy size 8 belts and we would cut them in half, and then it becomes 2 size 2 belts.
Is that why like some belts were frayed?
Yes.
Like that, like little light brown.
Yep.
Stitching?
And then I would try to burn off the fraying ends. Yeah.
Well, see, that's why like we're not endorsed by them or anything, but like, I stopped going to Sentry for belts, and like unless I absolutely needed it.
I haven't bought. The only belts I buy from Sentry are the High Dragon belts, and that's only if Age One is completely out of stock of them.
Yeah, that's
the only thing I really go to Sentry for. Oh, and Weight Masters. I like the Weight Masters better.
I haven't had to buy a Weight Master.
Yeah, our red one is on the verge of breaking, so that's why we have the new one.
Is that the one with like the Flex Seal?
No, that one.
That one's I think long gone at this point, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Back to the Naihanchi.
We need to start having a counter of how many times we get.
So we're gonna start a new segment when we're talking about kata. We're gonna call it Bunkai for Beginners. So we're just gonna break down a couple pieces out of like whatever we're talking about, so you guys can kind of start working on things. So this is the first time we're doing this segment, so bear with us here as we work this. We're probably gonna end up later on cutting this and going down and getting on the floor for this. But Naihanchi, so what are some of like the key out of like could be from all three too? Key elements in Naihanchi that you think people need to start messing around more with?
Elements or like actual
like pieces, like
pieces.
This will get you started with exploring bunkai.
Like again, the first lesson that Isaac had us where we had a cross wrist, put the hand on, like try to make things as literal as possible to start, and that will only, I will say, at least in my experience, only take you so far. But once you can start to visualize what you're doing, then it gives you something to base it off of that you can then keep on going down and start to wormhole and everything. And don't think that everything is connected just because, off of your cross hands, into the brush block, you can go into like that down block punch, but really after that, it'd be hard to, one, in real setting, actually keep that person on there and then keep on doing the kata on them.
Do the American cavalry.
Yeah. Try not to have everything, connect. Just because it is sequenced together doesn't mean that they actually flow and can work together. So that's a big part for me.
Okay. Well, I meant like a specific sequence. Like, for example, 1, 2, 3 is like one of your go-to favorites. Like, learning that double block, you're not blocking something high, and they're not punching and kicking you at the same time.
Wait, what?
And you're defending against both. But learning
That's
that,
news to me.
and you've got a punch down here, right? That's not, the second hand punch, or even, if you reverse it, clear and punch up high. You have just out of one move there with a double block, because you see double block in every Naihanchi. It's like universal across there. Of just that clear and then punch. All right, so I know you like the down punch, right? Do you have anything else for the 1, 2, 3?
If it's like a little pell grab, you could be striking the arm. You could actually be striking both. It's not an exact translation of whether you're going in and out or circling. But if you hit top of the forearm in a part of the bicep there, it'd probably look like this a little bit more. But then you would still have that flick to try and get that arm off. And then if you go into another one, then you're fully open for 2 more strikes.
So when you're doing here, what do you do with this hand?
So that depends. Like, how am I getting there? Depends. I usually just bring it on, but if I'm doing the kata, I just literally just put it there. But again, that could be a little bit of pasai of a hit and a strike and or a grab, where that could just be as simple as you're clearing a punch or someone trying to grab you, and then you hold on to it, and then you have your opening on that side, because it's supposed to go to the opposite side of the nose, into that cheek.
And modern concept, because you and I send clips to each other a lot of times on Instagram and things like that. Clinch work is a lot of times what I think of here too. Like when you're down here, if I've got the back of somebody's neck, or tricep or whatever it is, right, and I'm holding it, it's not too far off from this, right? When I push that arm through, look, that's where I fall, right? And I've got neck control here. Well, where does that take us next? Into the sweeps.
You have the sweeps, yeah.
Yeah, where you're attacking the legs in the clinch. And then this coming back in, quick smack to the temple here when you're in clinch work. So we can look at on a self-defense application bunkai way, right? There's also the I guess the more modern way to look at it, as long as we're not like, okay, block a punch and a kick at the same time. This is how you defend against 1-2.
I don't think I ever had that. I was never told that.
No, but I was thinking, is there any occasion where we've kicked and punched? I was like, oh yeah, 1-2, kick and punch.
Yeah, you got Shinto as well.
Yeah, Pinons. So one that I always want people to pay more attention, and it's easy, is just like the Shuto grab and punch. Yeehaw! Hello! Which I don't mind so much, because the way I like to defend.
What are you doing? What are you saying?
The way I like to defend against the haymaker is that big over the top, where you come down and you roll the bicep, where it's like it grabs and you twist it out. You know what I'm talking about?
I do, but I forgot that you had that one. I would love for you to try to do that on Hachiazi. I want to see his counter to that.
He's gonna hit me with the other hand. I already know what his counter's gonna be.
And that look.
But I don't like this, like the big over the top thing. But I don't mind like some of the the drop and roll part with it as well. But
Yeah, your lob.
yeah, exactly.
I thought you hate lob.
I do hate lob, but you know
But that's lob.
front lob is probably the only one that I can like. Side lob I can't do. Front lob I can make work. Maybe I have to work on my expanding when I do my side lobs.
Yeah, I was literally just thinking.
So boom, boom. What other ones though? What are the other ones that we want to give people to work on? Homework, so to speak.
Homework.
So we're inside the bomb. One.
You see this punch a lot.
Oh, the short punch.
Yeah, the short punch, which could be short punch, but you have to look at what you're doing before, during, and after. Like that, if you're here and you're pulling in, that can make sense because you have this pulley system here to go in for that punch. But like when you see down block punch, make that faster. Because what does that turn into?
Yeah.
That becomes your twist, and you see that in Pinan Godan when you're here punch and then you bring both of them over, and it's essentially the same motion. But I think because of we have to teach it to yellow belts and everything is broken down, and that's why like half the time sometimes I don't come up all the way. Like maybe when I first teach it, I teach them that down block is here.
Yeah, dragons I teach like that, but I think if I'm teaching. I'm just
and even
what Hanji calls it the half block.
And that's where I don't like to clear my defensive zone with that one. I don't like going behind.
I don't go all the way back.
I don't do that.
Sensei Hoskins was always big on that.
Get
up behind your butt.
Either in front or over the thigh.
Yeah, I'm like kind of in line.
Yeah. Just because like I'm especially because if someone's kicking me, which I wouldn't want to receive a block. Or receive a kick with that kind of block. If I'm behind there, they have to be like falling, and they have to be throwing a roundhouse kick. I have to be clearing it, and they have to be falling into me so that I can actually make contact with that. So it just doesn't make sense to me. It makes so much more sense coming from the other side and throwing.
I think that was like one of the first things that I unlocked was like elbow, pull, throw. Like that was like one of the first.
Yeah. Well, and I've had students for a long time say, okay, this is double punch. If you're punching someone out, how are you
reaching with that?
How are you making contact there? So it's a completely valid question, and depending on the age or this or that, or the rank of the person, I go, it's not.
I've been using this for bow recently.
Bow?
Like so if
okay.
If I go from here and then turn, like your hands are all right where they should be for the bow. Or like when we're doing,
I just do a reverse punch for them.
When we're doing, I'm teaching how to punch. Like, where are you right now? Like, drop your bow, turn sideways. Yeah,
I like that. I did that for side headlock because we were talking about the knee and the rising block up here, because you're pushing this way. And where are you? So.
Yeah. In the same vein, I guess we would talk about stop blocking. I guess the other thing people have to start looking at is like stop punching all the time. Every time your hand is out here does not mean you're punching the person. And we say, okay, it could be grab, it could be this, blah blah blah, but still people don't look at it as if they're still like, okay, punch.
I don't know. Sometimes a punch is just a punch, and
yes,
and your bunkai is ruining your kata, Ryan.
We start simple and then we progress.
Wait, we're supposed to do that?
Huh? Yeah. Because like we were talking about, I was going over with Team Fini where they were like, what is this thing? I was like, well,
fixing your hair.
No, that's Kusanku. Off the manji coming through, punch, and then lift. And I was like, this is not punch. I was like, stop thinking punch. It's punch, get underneath the arm, and then lift them up. I was like, you're not. I'm gonna punch him, and then I'm gonna go under the arm. Why? You already hit him. If you hit them, then just go under the arm.
Are you using the point with the Tunfu too?
I'm just going to the shoulder.
So if you go up and over, because
are you getting the tip in the?
I'm getting the hand, like the extension of the handle, and because as we were talking about, like with the seminar, where if we're doing, because that's essentially your end of Naihanchi or end of Pinan Nidan here, and you're going over that shoulder. If you're just that shoulder, you can stand up out of that. Like if I shoulder lock you right now, if I have my hand on your shoulder, you can stand right up. But if I'm over the tricep, that can work. Or if I'm digging my tunfa behind your ear,
I never found
pushing you down.
the ear point, but I'll have to look at that next time I'm demonstrating that.
Yeah. And or like that can be an uppercut.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes a punch is just a punch. Sure, you can. I made that reference. Nobody knew what I was talking about.
The what?
Yeah.
No, that's a Falco. I thought that was Falco. Oh no, Falco Punch.
Street Fighter.
I never played that.
Are you from Street Fighter?
I played Super Smash Bros.
Okay, the Mario uppercut then.
Yeah.
You know, but either way, oh my god.
Have I told? I was teaching Tekko this cycle to.
I still can't believe you don't know Ryu from Street Fighter.
Yeah, no. I've heard of Street Fighter. I don't think I maybe played it once at a friend's house growing up.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't play it either, but I still knew what the Shoryuken was.
I know Hadouken.
Yeah, but
that's out that way.
Hadouken, Shoryuken, and then you got the Tatsumaki Senpuken, the whirlwind.
English.
Yeah. Anyway, what were you saying?
I have no idea.
Tell me about a friend's. I don't know. You were at somebody's house.
Oh yeah, playing. Yeah, would maybe play Street Fighter.
Oh, Street Fighter. That's right.
But like with Tekko, like we have a lot of new fun names with some of the techniques. So like our Master Ken salute at the end, and I think Chris was saying Hadouken at the very end. And hey, as long as you remember it,
it's just like Kuchiyone. How?
Oh, you like that now?
I do it because of you.
That was Rob's. That was Rob's.
I don't teach it, but give yourself a high five.
Because he learned that long before me. He learned that kata.
So last thing I want to go over is practicing kata. I think people need to realize that you can't practice your kata the same way every single time and expect to get any better at it. Like, we have a lot of people, and with the next cycle coming up, I think it's important to kind of like start looking at these things. We teach by count so often, like 1, 2, 3, and that's like the trap that the students fall into. Where like, if you just take the first move, like we were talking about, the first move in Nachi Shodan with the step 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, if you don't segment and you make it into a no stopping throughout the motion, you'll find you're going to be very confused, but you'll also, if you really stick with it, you'll start to find a lot more things.
It's one of the things I want to start working, because spoiler alert, and I think we've already talked about this with our students, of the Naihanchis and Wansu once a year being put back in over the course of 4 years.
Oh,
so yeah, and I forget like when it comes up. I think it's either the summer cycle or like the September October cycle. I think it's that, where, because I think it's supposed to be like a self-defense cycle, and we're gonna go over the kata again. So hey, now that you're not a yellow belt, and we'll have plenty of time to work this kata, and you guys actually, hit the pavement with it. Have them flow a little bit more and to do it differently.
Yeah,
and it kind of stems into what I was talking about earlier. I was talking about it in class, or maybe one of the CIT meetings, where again the different ways to how to do your kata. Are you just kind of flowing through it so that you can remember it? Are you trying to perfect your technique? Are you trying to make it for tournament? Trying to think about how you would apply it, like all these different ways. Because it was we talked about Seisan Dachi. I was like, Seisan Dachi, that doesn't look great at tournament, as opposed to like a nice big strong looking Zenkutsu. So you have if you're practicing for tournament, I would say Zenkutsu, unless it's Seisan or Sanshin. Unless you're doing like those specific katas, and unless it calls for a very specific stance at certain points, you're doing the big, stronger looking type things. But then when you actually practice your kata to apply it, that's when things become smaller and a little bit more realistic looking. So yeah, a billion different ways to practice your kata.
Like I'm a big fan of the isolate one hand and just focus on the one, but I think you have to like really be confident in that it, not just because it messes with your memory, your body memory, because you've shut off half of it. But like I like it because then you can really focus on, okay, what is this hand supposed to be doing? Am I actually pulling with this hand? Like, am I practicing that, like with your applications, as it goes out, okay, is this, all right, that should not feel like I'm blocking when I'm doing double block, that feels strike-ish, okay? Well, now go back to it and figure out, okay, if I'm striking here, what can we do with this hand? So I think isolating and doing different things like that are good if you keep in mind that it's not just to mess with your memory. Can you remember the steps when I take away your hands and now you have to focus on your feet? Well, I don't want you focusing on remembering what your feet are supposed to be doing. I want you to actually look at what your feet are doing.
Yeah, I like separating the hands and the feet. I think 6 months ago, when we last did Naihanchi, I had once they were good with the kata, I put them into front stance. I just said, just stay in a front stance and do Naihanchi Shodan in a front stance, and like don't even move. And we might have.
So we might have side, or do they do forward?
I had forward.
Okay.
So I think everything is forward, except your down block can come this way. And we might have stepped. That was a while ago. I only did it a couple times, but I liked it because
I like
they could see how it was. In theory, they could see it done a little bit more not effective, like a little bit more real.
Yeah.
As opposed to being in a horse stance, and being against the wall, or literally just have your feet together and then just saying the words helps a lot.
I've done the one where no feet, just your hands.
Yeah.
And that messes with people because they want to turn, twist, and stop doing that.
Yeah.
But like when we do those isolated versions, I think it's really important. That's okay, you can't be thinking about your memory anymore at that point. Like it's just gotta be focusing on the techniques themselves, not I don't have this, so now it makes it harder for me to remember. So I have to focus on remembering. Stop getting on at a certain point, it shouldn't mess you up anymore. It should be, I can take this away. Your body should still know what to do. You should still be able to focus. Be okay, so let's move next. All right, let me do that technique. Not If you're thinking on memory too much, you're doing too much, or not doing enough actually. Both. Do you ever have your students do all right, all out, full 100%, scream, yell, I don't care how ugly it is, I just want you to throw everything max power?
Yeah, I phrase that in that nothing is a block, because block, everything is a strike. You are hitting something with it. That kind of gets them into that mentality, I think. I've had success with that, and I like that. Everything is yell, be tight,
be ugly with it.
Be a hard hitter with it. There was something else I'm forgetting now.
What was?
Going way back in the conversation of things to remember or how to do. When I said that nothing's a block, I want to take out block but add in receive. Start receiving things.
Down receive.
Take things in, and then because again you could be blocking someone like that, but that person's coming in. Blocking would imply that you're stopping. You're like a shield. If you block someone with a shield, it stops, as opposed to you can glance off and all that. That becomes a parry. But at that point, I would say you're receiving. Semantics aside.
I'm trying to use a lot more Okinawan/Japanese terminology in class. One, to improve my vocab, but two, to kind of get away from those discrepancies. My dragon's no ageuke now.
Oh, good. You're getting away. Is it Chodan or Judan is up top?
Jodan.
Jodan.
Yeah. But because at some point, I was like, okay, we need a different way. I was like, all right, stop. All right, everybody stop saying rising block. I was like, we got a new vocab word. You're all gonna say ageuke, big step punch. And I was like, oh great, I'm gonna get in trouble for this, I bet.
If I'm at a tournament and I ask a dragon, hey, what's that? And then I'm like, what?
I was like, you're gonna make one person very happy when you say that. You're gonna confuse a lot of other people though.
Yeah.
Because then I'm gonna get in trouble for they're not saying the right things in the tournament.
I say the kind of mean thing where I'm like, if you get in trouble for this, that person's not educated. So just in your head, say bless your heart, and move on.
Like our vocab word for this was taisabaki. Whether or not these actually stick, we'll see. But like, okay,
I do the somewhat terrible. Once I start speaking other languages, I have to then speak the other languages. So I've been merging Japanese and German.
Oh my god!
And it's been so much fun. I try to just stick to the Japanese.
Like going all access, huh?
But it was last. I mean, actually, no, it's coming up, and I'll do it again for Tekki Yondan with the brown belts. For like 2 weeks last time, I only spoke in Japanese. I would just point and touch and be like, Tobi Magere. Yeah, and just start going into the stances and this and that. And like, someone's back foot was off. Senku, and I'm just going crazy, and they're looking at it. They got it though.
The heck are you doing?
So with it being a Teikyoku for Yondans, and then Teikyoku Yondan
for brown belts,
but then Naihanchi for I don't know if I'll do that with Naihanchi.
Yeah, that'd be hard.
That's a lot of other extra vocab.
That's
that I'm not even fully comfortable
one
with.
Piece at a time. Yeah, I'm going to expand the vocab. Like we did, and then like my beginners, I had them do ageuke and gyakuzuki, at the same time. But yeah, so it's our deep dive on the hachi.
Amongst other things.
Yeah. Practice it, play with it, have fun with it, ask questions. And we'll see what we come up with next. What do we have coming up?
Naihanchi.
Actually, we do. I was talking about the Canada cycle, but yeah, Naihanchi's coming up in the next cycle.
Canada training. We have that women's self-defense seminar coming up in May.
Yes.
And we get May 3rd.
We'll see if you guys get this episode in time for that.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I guess I'm the one who has to edit and send it out. I mean, we gotta get. I think we were supposed to start doing two episodes a month.
Yeah, now, I mean, technically, we made 2 in this month.
So actually, what's today's date?
Today's 4/20.
Okay, it's 20th. Okay, so not exactly on schedule, but
yeah,
we got busy.
Canada's is going to be very busy. So, we got testing coming up with this week and all sorts of stuff, but nothing training event wise. You know what we do have to get on?
Summer camp.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. We gotta start planning August and whether or not we're going down in July.
Oh yeah.
We have to start figuring out our plan because we're going to be running out of time to coordinate with people at this point.
Yeah. I'll reach back out to Gribble. I think
I'll reach out to Bear.
I think Bear's good. He penciled it in.
Okay.
He said that date looked good.
Yeah, send him a reminder of things.
Yeah.
Schedules fill up. But yeah, we gotta figure that out. So, nothing in the immediate future, but we have some things in the pipeline for coming up.
Have you been practicing your cornhole?
Oh yeah, we gotta. No, I have not. I need a partner to practice with.
Hey, don't.
So I can shoot regulation. We have a title to defend in July. But you know what we gotta do is if it happens, the episode has to sit right here. You gotta bring the trophy in.
Oh yeah,
and just have it sit right here the entire time. But yeah, so episode 5, that's a wrap. We'll see you guys out on the mat. Have fun with it. Catch you later. Bye.
See ya.